Originally built in the 15th century, this amazing set of medieval buildings has since Elizabethan times been known as the hospital, even though there has never ever been a medical establishment here. Find out which county would host such an architectural conundrum in just a moment. On today's show, we'll be helping two newlyweds escape London's southern suburbs for a more tranquil married life in the country. And we got some stunning properties coming up, though size could be an issue in some.
I've run out of small words, to be honest with you.
But it looks like the dimensions of others will be getting top marks.
Tick, tick.
Tick, 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 tick.
That many ticks, blimey.
Today I'm in historic Warwickshire, and this is Lord Leicester's Hospital, which started life as a medieval guildhall and then in 1571 was acquired by the first Earl of Leicester, who turned it into an almshouse for retired servicemen and their wives. Now, back in Elizabethan days, hospital had a much wider sense of being any charitable organisation, and the name and the function has stuck because today 8 servicemen and their wives live in historic splendour still. Landlocked in the very heart of the country, Warwickshire boasts some of the most historic and idyllic locations, which have become the international trademark of Merry England. During the 18th and 19th centuries, the development of a national canal system put the area at the forefront of the Industrial Revolution. The county is rich in historic architecture going back 1,000 years, including the medieval castle at Warwick, built by the Normans, and the Elizabethan half-timbered houses in Stratford-upon-Avon, where literary genius William Shakespeare was born. The enticing range of diverse and distinctive residential properties makes Warwickshire a highly desirable location. Take your pick from terraced Regency splendour to thatched Cotswold cottages, all encapsulating the delights of English culture and traditional charm. Overall property prices in Warwickshire are about 6% above the national average, although if you look more closely there are quite distinct regional differences. Up in the north, which is closer to Birmingham and Coventry, great for commuters, but slightly cheaper than the south, which is towards all the golden Cotswolds, and those are the prices that push up the average across the county. Still, a spectrum of prices and a spectrum of properties. For a premium budget of £995,000, this rustic 5-bedroom barn conversion sits in the countryside around Coventry. It's a fine blend of character with contemporary touches and comes complete with a detached leisure complex. Or, priced at just under £650,000, this 4-bed attached home in Over-Whittaker has well-proportioned rooms, the land totals 5 acres, and the property is surrounded by a beautiful landscaped garden. And lastly, this 3-bedroom barn conversion near Lee Marsden is on the market just shy of £400,000. It has a grand master suite, and the 3 reception rooms include a bright conservatory. Some of the cream of Warwickshire property there, but will it be enough to whet the appetite of our buyers today? Let's find out what their tastes are like. Newlyweds James and Lynn live in this modern 5-bed house in Croydon, South London. James runs his own recruitment consultancy, and Lynn works as a manager in the NHS. With a new job offer for Lynn in the Midlands, it's provided the perfect catalyst for them to trade in their urban lives and settle into a new life in the country.
We got married in December, and obviously we're thinking about our future, the potential for a family of our own, so we would like to be able to move closer to our family and James's family. I grew up in the country myself, so being able to go back to that and spend a bit more time at the weekend, doing things that we enjoy.
They've chosen Warwickshire to be closer to James's family and to get within a 45-minute commute to Lynn's new job in Solihull. But what type of setting are they hoping for?
In terms of the location, I think we are extremely open. I think we can have rural, semi-rural, edge of a village. I think really as long as it's the right property, I think the location will kind of take care of itself, hopefully.
Yeah.
OK, so they're flexible as to their ideal location, but do they have their hearts set on a specific type of house?
I think we'd be looking for a detached house, minimum of 3 bedrooms, because it would give us the potential, you know, if we did have family. We've got quite an open plan living at the moment, so that suits us quite well, and I think that would be quite nice as well. You know, a bit more land that we could entertain and we could develop over time into quite a nice garden. Somewhere with a little bit of character as well, that you would be quite happy to invite family and friends to come and stay.
I've got an office at the moment here, or a study. I'd like a sort of an area for that as well, or an outbuilding maybe where I could sort of put the office out there and separate work and home.
Yeah.
And when they're not working, how will they be spending their spare time?
The area that we're thinking of moving to has a really good canal network, so, you know, being able to try some different things, you know, narrow boating, I've always fancied trying that, so maybe to do that at the weekend would be nice.
The house is on the market for £575,000, and they've already had 2 offers, so there's a strong chance of an imminent sale. But how much will they have to spend on their Warwickshire relocation?
The budget for the next move is £550,000.
Refreshingly for this show, James and Lynn are quite flexible. They're both young, excited about moving to the countryside. They don't have any fixed ideas about what they want. They're not fussed whether it's in a village or out in the countryside. All they want is space for a new family, perhaps in the future, and also some countryside to enjoy. The only thing that we do have to bear in mind is that it needs to be 45 minutes away from Solihull, but that sounds doable to me.
We may not be restricted by a lengthy wish list, but we do have to consider not only Lynn's commute, but also James's need for business trips down to London. So our quest will take us to the Warwickshire rural villages surrounding Stratford-upon-Avon and Rugby, all within a stone's throw of both the M1 and the M40. And we got some stunning properties lined up, but as ever, I won't be revealing the price until the end of each house tour. And of course, the finale will be the mystery house, which will definitely test their neighbourly goodwill.
Hello.
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 Welcome to Warwickshire.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Didn't you grow up here when you were little?
I certainly did.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you actually have many memories?
A few, not many, but I'm told many stories, so...
Ah, very good.
Yeah.
You're going to be walking around, he's going to have flashbacks.
Yeah. Maybe get the accent back as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, got to learn the roads again, I think. So.
Oh, really, yeah. So you've got your job up here?
I have, yep. Start in 3 weeks' time.
Well
So,
done.
very exciting.
That's exciting. And so you're going to look for somewhere in the interim?
Yeah, I think we're going to rent for a short period of time until we find something.
Unless we find you the dream house.
Hopefully today.
Yeah.
Even so, it might take a little while for you to move in.
Yeah.
Good, well, there's some beautiful properties out, great housing stock here as well, and lovely countryside. So shall we go look?
Yeah,
and look.
fantastic.
On the wagons roll.
The good news is that James and Lynn have now accepted an offer on their house, so the race is on to find them a new home. And for a top budget of £550,000, they're after a detached family property with at least 3 bedrooms, a study and spacious living areas. Outside, they'd like an area for entertaining, as well as a decent-sized garden. They ideally want the property to come with a bit of character, although they haven't specified exactly what that means.
It strikes me as a little odd that you don't have more fixed ideas about what you want. Why do you think that is?
We've lived in a few different properties, throughout our time together. We've gone from a sort of modern house. We had a Victorian house. So I think we've been used to all those different types of properties, and I think that's why we're quite open and, don't really have a set plan.
Yeah.
Good. That means we can surprise you.
Yeah.
Yes.
With open minds all round, let's get this house search started. And for our first stop, we're heading down to the south of the county to the village of Ilmington, which lies inside their desired 45-minute catchment to Solihull, and just 8 miles from a mainline train station that offers a fast service down to London. Ilmington is a delightful, peaceful village in the northern Cotswolds. It's also the highest village in Warwickshire, surrounded by open countryside. Also benefits from a couple of pubs and a local shop.
We are right at the end of this road. There is no through traffic whatsoever. It's just a path up the hill. And this is the house I want to show you.
Wow.
Wow, it's lovely.
It is lovely. looks quite small.
Looks quite small from the outside.
Yeah.
It's a little Cotswolds cottage, yeah.
Yeah.
It looks promising. I think the weather helps, and it feels like I'm on holiday. So
Yeah.
you
That's
can't
good.
get better than that with when you're going to buy a house.
You want to feel like you're on holiday all the
Yeah.
time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
This charming detached cottage is made of traditional Cotswold stone quarried from the surrounding fields. And it's believed the original house dates back to the 18th century. But it's been extended 3 times over the last 50 years.
Come on in, if you close the door behind you. Oops. Straight into the oldest part of the house, so brace yourself for the beams.
Okay.
Low. And I'm not the
Yes.
tallest chap.
Are they that low? Just about shave my
Just
head.
about, yeah.
So they are undeniably low.
Lovely fireplace though.
And it's an inglenook.
It's an
It is
ingle
an
nook.
ingle
And
nook.
it is actually a proper
A
inglenook.
proper ingle nook. Yeah, very snug.
Is it growing on you? I saw your
It
face
is actually
fall
growing on
slightly
me.
as we
Oh,
came in.
strangely enough, it is growing on me, but I think it's because I've got anticipation for the rest of the house. I'm hoping that the ceilings do rise
Rise a bit,
slightly, or the floor lowers, one or the other.
They do. In the modern
Could we lower
parts.
the floor?
Maybe you can do that. Come on into the kitchen.
That's nice.
It's nice. A
Really
touch smaller than I
nice.
was hoping for, but
I thought you were going to say that.
yeah.
Property.
Look, the finish is lovely.
Yeah,
you
they
can't.
get-
You can't sort
Oh,
of.
you know, I really like the. Is it oak?
Yes, this
Yeah.
is Tewkesbury oak, so it's locally sourced. It's marble tops, of course, big, lovely,
Lovely
Belfast
sink.
Belfast sink, yeah.
And you've got you've got your utility and all the kind of further storage and white goods through there, and a downstairs loo.
Yeah.
Um,
A lot to take in when you just walk in, so it's
yeah, no, of
Yeah.
course.
you know. But I do think it's kind of got everything. If it had another foot either side, I think it would be nigh on perfect. I think.
And the ceilings have come up a bit.
And the ceilings have come
Yeah.
up a bit.
Right next to the kitchen is the dining room with a staircase that leads up to the smallest of the 3 bedrooms. It's currently set up as a music room, but it could be used as an office for James.
What do you think to this? It's also, again, quite petite.
Bijou.
I've run out of small words, to be honest with you. Yes, I think as an office, it's functional. I just feel like I need something a little bit more, not inspiring or anything like that, but just a little bit
More
more sort of
airy.
airy and
Right.
where you can spend 12 hours a day.
Sure.
Back in the entrance hall, there's an alternative office arrangement, which is next to another staircase that leads up to the remaining 2 bedrooms.
Upstairs, it's much higher ceilings. With
Yeah.
It is.
Yes. Yeah. This is a nice sized room actually.
I quite like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The other bedroom on this side of the cottage is another bright double with built-in wardrobes. And next door is a well-fitted family bathroom, complete with a cast-iron roll-top bath. That's the house tour complete, so it's time to head outside to see the garden. Immediately to the rear of the cottage is a paved area, ideally suited for entertaining. The pretty garden is laid out on various terraces, lots of flower beds, a rockery, and an ornamental pond.
It's very private.
Yeah. It's very nice.
Yeah, beautiful.
Nice and secluded, yeah. I think it's probably different from what I imagined. It's a big garden, it's got lots of space, but there's not...
There's not a massive area in one section.
Yeah,
This is very pretty,
yeah.
but looks a lot of hard work.
Let's talk more hard tax and money. What do you think this charming Cotswolds cottage, even if it might be a bit small for you, costs?
I'm going to go 425.
425?
Really?
Okay.
I think it's more 525.
Okay. So you say 425, you say 525.
Yeah.
425 is that what you would think it's worth?
What I would pay for it.
Oh, that's something different.
That is different.
It's on the market for 535. And it's been on just a couple of weeks and they've had in excess of 40 viewings.
Wow.
So it's a very popular proposition
Yeah.
in a very popular village. Well, why don't you have a walk around inside? And I know this might not be the house for you, but at least use it to think about what you definitely don't want.
Yeah.
Because you came with a very open brief and sometimes it's quite good to kind of narrow it down a
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah.
Definitely learnt a lot.
After you. Fascinating. It's very interesting what you think you'd pay for something and what you actually think you'd have to pay for it are quite different things. And it strikes me that they they don't really want to live in the Cotswolds. Why do they want to live in an old Cotswold village for? They want to live somewhere a bit more further north, perhaps, with a bigger house, a bit more lively. So it's all grist to the mill.
Just under budget at £535,000, our first property is a beautiful detached stone-built cottage, chock full of character features. It comes with 3 bedrooms, 2 reception rooms and a country kitchen. Outside there's a well-maintained cottage garden and the property is located on a quiet, no-through road, but near to good transport links for work. To many, this house would make an ideal family home, but will this chocolate box cottage be too sweet for James and Lynn's palates?
I think the setting is amazing. I think the outside space is, lovely, but really that's where it stops for me.
See, I do really like this kitchen.
I think it ticks all the boxes. I just don't think it does enough in terms of what we want to do.
It's a really lovely house, to be honest. It's just probably a little bit too small.
It's incredibly quiet here. Certainly quieter than Croydon. You're done?
All done?
If you pull the door behind you, let's head off to explore more of Warwickshire.
As well as Warwickshire's world-renowned treasures such as the magnificent Norman Castle at Warwick, it's worth wandering further off the beaten track to discover the other historic gems this region has to offer. Back in the late 1100s, the manor at Temple Balsall was one of the many donations given to the Order of the Knights Templar as a reward for their bravery in the Crusades. For 2 centuries, the Order ran a very productive estate at Balsall, and one of the most significant surviving buildings is the Old Hall, which was Warwickshire's senior court for the Knights Templar. During the house hunting week, we sent Lynn and James to meet up with expert Chris Mundell for a guided tour.
Here we are in the Old Hall. This is the former preceptory or headquarters of the Knights Templar in Warwickshire. It's a medieval building.
Oh, that's interesting, because it doesn't look very medieval from outside.
Oh, it is. The original building is still here, but it's brick encased. It was encased in brick in the 18th century to help preserve it. Even though the Templars were a monastic order, they managed to amass great wealth. They were the wealthiest organisation in medieval Britain. Even the kings borrowed from them. And they are accredited with starting the banking system. In fact, they invented the cheques.
Oh, wow.
With very few records, the order is still shrouded in mystery, but it's believed the church at Temple Balsall was one of the last buildings they constructed in England. Their extreme wealth had made them vulnerable, attracting many enemies, and the Pope abolished the order in 1312. When they left the Balsall estate, an inventory was carried out, which cast light on the Templars' diet. The list included 80 doves, suggesting a dovecote probably existed on the estate. There's no dovecote here anymore, but Warwickshire does have a rare medieval example at Kinwarton, with metre-thick circular walls, hundreds of nesting holes and an original rotating ladder. Expert Stephen Spinks explains.
It's a 14th century dovecote, which is kind of like the 14th century version of our bling for today. If you're looking for a big pad, this is what you would have in your garden. Pigeons are really, really important, sort of like the crown jewels of today, really. Used for meat, for feathers, and it's the babies that they're really interested in, much like a quail on your dinner table.
Why is the door so small?
For small pigeons and small people, really. It's called an OG archway, which is really rare, really, really rare. There's not many of them. And as you can see the little blue door on it, it's designed so the pigeons can't get out. But if you want to go in, you've got to crouch down to get inside. So your whole body takes up the door so the pigeons don't all fly at you.
How many birds does it hold?
This particular one, you're looking at about 580 or more, which is quite a lot of pigeons. And you imagine all of those who are having babies. So again, there's a lot of pigeons in there.
Hoping to have inspired James and Lynn to build their nest in these parts, we continue on our house hunting journey. We may have had mixed reactions to our first property, but fortunately there's plenty more to see. So we're heading north 5 miles south of Rugby, where our destination is the village of Barby. And even though Barby has a Warwickshire postcode, it's situated just across the county border in Northamptonshire. The village has a shop, a post office and a pub, and set back just off the road, our second house takes pride of place.
Feast your eyes on this property.
Wow, it's very nice.
Very impressed.
Looks quite promising.
This is about 1800. There was a very old farmhouse, there's remnants of that, but actually this is all a kind of late Georgian addition on the front. There's very big sash windows and a lovely little portico.
Yeah, and symmetrical.
Really nice front garden. Really, really pretty.
Well, it's really mature, isn't it?
Do you want to go in as well?
Dying to win.
Shall I go?
Demanding so much.
First impressions are drawing our buyers in, and it's no surprise, for this is a handsome Grade 2 listed house set over 3 floors. Despite its Georgian and even earlier farmhouse origins, the property has been recently refurbished with an elaborate Victorian style.
I kind of want to show you all the rooms actually, but this is your classic Georgian 2 rooms at the front, one for receiving, one for reclining, reading, and good proportions.
Yeah, that's what hit me straight away. See, I think this is definitely more my comfort zone. So, yeah, box ticked.
Across the hallway, the second reception is another well-proportioned room and vividly decorated in Victoriana style. Next door is a large, smart utility room, and beyond that, at the back of the property going into the original farmhouse, sits the kitchen diner.
Very nice.
Yep.
This is, I think, a lovely kitchen space. Actually, this at the bottom here, these units are from a Victorian shop counter. And then it goes through into there, which is the sort of dining room space. I mean, the present owners basically live here all the whole time.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's the heart of the house.
What do you think?
Tick, tick.
Tick, 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 tick.
That many ticks, blimey.
Just 2 ticks from you. What would you change?
I think that I'm a little bit cautious because I think it needs a little bit of work doing to it, and I can see that's going to cost us quite a lot of money. But once we put our stamp on it, I think it's a move for the future, isn't it? So it's not have to be done tomorrow, and it probably won't be done next week either.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, could be our labour of love.
Hidden behind a door in the kitchen is a staircase which we'll come to later. But for now, we're heading back to the front of the property, up the main flight of stairs where we'll find 3 of the 5 bedrooms.
These rooms up on the first floor, the bedrooms, I think are lovely. They've got lots of light. You've got light coming into the landing here.
Yeah.
These 2 good-sized formal rooms at the front.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I really like it.
nice. Like, really nice size and as you say, really bright, and lovely fireplace in here as well.
Yeah, again, all the original features.
Yeah, and a lovely look out again to the garden.
Great views.
Yeah.
This bedroom also has Jack and Jill access to the huge family bathroom, with his and her sinks, a large shower and a separate roll-top bath. Across the hallway is another bright, opulently decorated double bedroom with views over the garden. Up on the second floor are another 2 bedrooms, which are both decent-sized double rooms, but we're staying on the first floor where we're heading to the unusual guest suite, where I've got a proposition that James might like.
This is probably the most idiosyncratic bit. Essentially the guest wing, we're above the kitchen.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have a freestanding bath and another shower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a little bedroom, sort of 4-poster bed in its own little kind
Yeah, which is very pretty.
of barn
Yeah.
structure. But what I was thinking, this would be like a perfect office.
Yeah, I can see that.
Get rid of all this, open this all up, paint the ceilings, put your office desk there, and you come up from the kitchen with your cup of coffee, work
Yep.
all day, and then...
That's a good idea.
Sounds really good.
Yeah.
And got windows on both sides, so light all day.
Yeah.
Big ceilings, so you don't feel claustrophobic. Enough space to walk around.
Yeah.
As a bathroom in a bedroom, it doesn't tick the boxes, but as an office, it does.
Yeah.
I think it's safe to say that James and Lynn are both feeling the potential of this house, even though its current style may not be an exact match for their taste. Immediately to the rear of the house is a large enclosed cobbled courtyard, but the main garden lies at the front of the property, which is laid to lawn with a range of mature trees and shrubs.
So we are, journey complete.
Yep. Bit of a journey. Yep.
Yeah.
Now the key factor, since you've been ching-ka-ching and all your tick boxes have turned into cash boxes, is the price. So how much do you think the house costs?
I think it needs a lot of money spent on it, and it could be done over many, many years. So I would probably say 515, with my fingers crossed.
515. What about you, Lynn?
I would probably say either on our budget or just over, so I'd go 560.
So it's on the market just a shade under your budget, in fact. It's on at 549,950.
Okay.
But it's been on the market for 6 months, so the owners are quite open to offers.
Yeah.
And it could be that gives you £50,000 to do some decorating.
Yeah.
Walk around, see how the spirit moves you.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
For a fiver short of their top budget, this elegant Georgian farmhouse offers extensive accommodation that's laid out over 3 floors and has been renovated with traditional Victorian features. It has 5 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2 reception rooms and a large farmhouse kitchen diner with separate utility room. But do they have the vision to see the potential beyond its individual decorative style?
I think in terms of a project, it might be just a touch too far. I think by the time we put our stamp on it, it could be very, very expensive.
I suppose my major concerns about the property are how we would get this to be our home. I can't quite picture in my mind how much work that's going to be.
Hello.
Hello.
That took a while.
Yep, lots to see.
Lots to discuss.
Lots to discuss.
Any Chinese burns? No?
None yet.
None yet. Very good. Well, let's have a little break from property and relax.
Sounds good.
With the sun setting across the countryside, the first phase of our property hunt draws to a close. On a budget of £550,000, recently married James and Lynn dream of leaving London's commuter belt to get closer to their family and settle into the wonderful countryside of Warwickshire. So far they've seen 2 beautiful properties, but they've struggled to find the exact blend of character and proportion. So will we get the right mix in the mystery property?
James, you're practically gushing.
Ah, I know.
And then I'll be putting my feet up, but it won't be relaxing.
Just a few more feet. See the light at the end of the tunnel. I was thinking about your disappointment yesterday and was wondering whether it was in any way tied with your lack of clarity about what you actually want.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
I think you're spot on.
Yeah.
I think we were too broad and too naive about what we liked and what we didn't like,
And we thought we were quite open, whereas we're maybe not.
So, with a brief that's still quite unclear, it's Mystery House time. And we're staying in the countryside surrounding Rugby, travelling to the village of Dunchurch. The village was once a popular coaching post, and many famous people have stayed here, including the co-conspirators of the notorious gunpowder plot, who met in Dunchurch whilst awaiting news of Guy Fawkes' attempt to blow up the Houses of Parliament. Today, the village has many amenities, including pubs, restaurants, and convenience stores, and the stocks should dissuade any explosive behaviour. In the house search so far, our buyers haven't warmed to a cosy traditional cottage, and they've been reluctant to take on any refurbishment to get a more spacious property. So, for the mystery package, we're going to give them character and space in pristine condition. But of course, all that has to come with a twist.
This is what used to be the stable blocks of the Duke of Buccleuch's hunting lodge.
Okay.
So it's converted, obviously,
Yeah.
into 4 houses.
right.
It is an attached house.
Okay.
So you share all of this central courtyard with 4 families.
Okay.
So a quarter each.
Right.
Okay, I'm interested.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of character.
Yep.
A lot of character, and inside of the house is period but modern. We thought it might fit the bill for you.
Okay.
Should we go?
Yep.
Yes, please.
The Mystery House is a mews conversion of an original coaching inn and stables, which dates back to the mid-18th century. And if they're prepared to live in an attached property, I think this place could be just what James and Lynn are looking for.
Here we are, inside.
Yes. I said straight lines and straight walls, so
Yeah? All modern, all done, all finished.
Yeah.
all modern, all done, all finished.
Lovely floor.
Flooring,
Yeah.
Stunning.
log burner here.
Yep. Nice.
newly rebuilt fireplace.
Yeah.
Everything's been remodelled. They've been here about 16 years and they've finished everything to an incredibly high standard.
Yeah.
It was actually a stable when they moved in. New electricity,
Lovely.
heating.
Oh, I'm relaxing slightly.
Relaxing.
I'm sure there's a catch.
No, well, hopefully not. So this is the central space and the rest of the house radiates off it.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of history because obviously this was a horsey building.
Yeah.
So the kitchen was the tack room. Not much trace of this tack room now because it's all been turned into kitchen.
Splendid.
It's really nice.
Is it nice?
Yep.
I'll go back to my ticks. Tick, tick.
Oh,
I'm talking like we live in here, but the table would fit in lovely.
I know.
your table?
Yeah.
Splendid.
You realise that is a sign of moving in.
Yes,
Yeah.
I know that. That's why I was hesitant in saying it. But, don't like to think too positively.
A nice little detail, for example, here. You've got all your white goods, so you're washing.
Oh, nice.
Little, like a mini laundry.
Yeah.
It's the finish. The finish is really, really strong. When you look around, just the finish grows on you and grows on you. You just notice new things all the time. So.
James, you're practically gushing.
I know.
It's a new you, I haven't noticed.
I feel like I'm gushing.
Good, so this gets a thumbs up?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's very nice. Let's look at the other reception rooms.
Yeah.
This room has a great story and very high ceilings.
Very high ceilings.
Very high
Lovely.
ceilings.
This was the carriage room, so that was all rebuilt. There was just a massive archway door there, and the carriages from the big house would come in here, and you'd fit 2 carriages in here, which is why it's so high.
Yeah.
So the present owners have completely remodelled it. They've built this wall, put in these beautiful high-quality French windows, go out into a patio, and put in these Georgian sash windows on the other side. And they built this chimney breast. So that's a gas effect fire and a Portland stone
It's a
surround.
lovely fireplace.
Yeah,
Really
honestly
lovely.
stunning.
Yeah.
If we were going to put one in,
That's exactly what.
that's what we would have chosen.
That's what we like to
Yeah.
hear.
Yeah, as I said, tick, tick, tick.
Yeah.
Tick.
At last, I think we finally hit the jackpot, with very positive reactions from all parties. The ground floor also has a second, more cosy reception room, of which is an elegant study. Time to get upstairs and see if the sleeping quarters will hit the mark as well.
So upstairs it's compact, it's snug up here.
Yeah.
I won't lie. This is the master bedroom.
Yeah, I still like it.
Yeah.
You say compact, but still got character.
Yeah, I mean, I always think, well, you just sleep in bedrooms, don't you?
Yeah.
It has 4 bedrooms, but actually one of them is, if you just poke your head around here, it's quite a small little guest room, which I thought would make a really nice ensuite for you guys.
Yeah, really good idea.
There are 2 more bedrooms up here. One is presented as a twin room. The other is another double, and there's also a bright, sunny family bathroom. But that's not all. Let's get outside where I've got one last thing in store for James.
So this is your little garden,
Yeah.
but this is the feature I want to show you. So it's not massive, but they did build this office and the garden.
Perfect. And a very pretty garden as well, so
Yeah.
perfect.
Because this is all wired, it's got huge, thick kind of cables that come in from the broadband and the telephone, and so it's all wired for...
Good. Lovely. Yeah, I'm happy.
Great. Well,
Great.
lovely.
Well, lovely,
This
thank you,
house
yeah.
tour is wonderful.
It's easy.
Sign on the
This is
dotted
easy.
line.
This is easy.
So you get a view of the whole garden. It's not a massive garden, but it's very well kept and kind of simple to maintain.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
Really
it's more than capable.
Yeah.
What is nice is that you have this lovely sort of sunny patio area.
Yeah.
Lost for words.
Oh, it's the first time.
Really pretty. Really
Well
pretty.
done.
Lovely.
Great. What do you think it's worth?
I'd probably say slightly over budget, and I'd say 575.
I'd probably still go a little bit lower. I'd probably say 540.
It's actually on the market just under your budget.
Ooh,
Just a shade under 550.
lovely.
So you wouldn't have to spend a penny on it to move in. It's whether you're happy with the attachedness of it and the location. And
I think that's just something we need to talk about, but
Yeah.
I think in reality, I think it's it ticks all the boxes.
well,
Yeah.
why don't you go in and talk about it?
Sounds good to me.
Lovely.
Thank you.
See you at the front. Oh, result. You see? Mystery House always does it. Pulls everything together, brings it into focus. Ching.
Just below budget at £545,000, the mystery property is an attached mews house that's full of period charm but renovated to a high spec. On the ground floor there are 3 reception areas and a kitchen breakfast room, and upstairs houses 4 bedrooms and the family bathroom. Outside there's a communal courtyard as well as a private garden to the rear, which also contains a fully equipped office that's perfect for James. In terms of the accommodation, the mystery package more than meets all their criteria if they can compromise on their desired detached house.
I really like this house. It's got some fantastic, spaces. I love the main sitting room. The garden's lovely as well. I could see myself living in that sort of downstairs space.
I think the property's really good. I think the overall setup of it is probably ideal for us at this precise moment.
I was thinking, you're going to have to interview your neighbours.
Yes.
They're very sociable, but you kind of want to know them.
Yeah.
There might be a nice little ready-made community for you to move into.
Yeah, meet new people.
Meet new people, yes.
Let's press on.
The creation of a canal network in the Midlands meant that the area played a vital role in the 18th and 19th century Industrial Revolution, transporting vast quantities of goods throughout the country. Just north of Warwickshire lies the Dudley Canal, which features an impressive network of tunnels over 2,000 metres long. Originally created in the late 1700s by the Earl of Dudley to access his limestone quarries, this stretch of the canal revolutionised transportation to the south. During the week, I met up with canal historian Graham Fisher at the mouth of the tunnel.
Now, this is the tunnel we're going to go into?
Yes, it is. This is the first section of Lord Ward's tunnel that opened in 1778.
Lord Ward's tunnel. Tell me all about that.
Lord Ward was John II Viscount, Lord of Dudley and Ward, the Earl of Dudley, and he owned all this land. He took the title in 1774. He was frankly little short of a genius, especially with his plans to build the canals that came through here, because by doing so he'd take quite a chunk off the journey down to London.
So how much time did you save coming through here?
Maybe up to a couple of days. At one point, this particular section of tunnel was carrying something in excess of 41,000 boats a year in the middle of the 19th century. Of course, before the days of the canals, you were restricted to pack horses. With the advent of a canal that could carry something like 30 tonne at a time was an absolute revolution.
I mean, here we've got towpaths and everything, so the horses pulled the boats here. Yeah. What happens in the tunnel? There's no...
The only option for the miner or the boater was to push the boat through the tunnel by walking along the tunnel walls, and that was called legging. Very hard back-breaking and dangerous work.
I think you've got that in store for me, haven't you?
I think you can try a little bit of that under controlled and safe conditions, I hasten to add.
Very good.
Inside the tunnels, there's still evidence of the limestone quarries that once existed here. Large underground caverns were created, some of which were opened up to the surface for better access. It's hard to imagine that these beautiful, lush green grottos were once working mines. Modern narrowboats have one clear advantage over the original ones. They are engine-powered. But back in the old days, boaters had to rely solely on their own legwork.
I think we can safely remove our hats for this part of the exercise, eh?
Because we're going to have our heads
together.
together.
Going to fall off anyway. And we do have to work head to head, shoulder to shoulder. If you put your feet over the side, leaning over as far as possible, keep them above the side of the boat so they don't get crushed.
Oh, and then head to head.
And away we go. Walk along that wall.
In a powered vessel, it takes about 45 minutes to travel through the tunnels. But when boaters were using leg muscle, it would have taken over 4 hours to walk the canal boats through, largely in pitch black conditions.
Just a few
I
more
can
feet.
see the light at the end of the tunnel. Oh. Yes! Yes, and it's gold!
And relaxed. Well done, Alistair. You can now officially claim your I have legged through Dudley Canal Tunnel certificate.
I am a legger.
My very short taste of legging was exhausting despite pushing an empty canal boat. I can only imagine what back-breaking work it must have been with a full load of some 30 tons. I'm not entirely sure my legs could have managed it. Now that the house quest in Warwickshire has come to an end, it's time to find out what decisions our buyers have made and what lessons they've learnt. Oh, Lynn, you're being mum.
Tea, yeah.
Not yet. Further down the line. Sorry, I didn't want to rush you, James.
You're obsessed.
Now, how's it been? Because it's been quite interesting for us, showing you these houses, because things have changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the phrase is a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
It's a bit of a journey.
If you like roller coasters, that is.
Depends whether you came off feeling sick or exhilarated.
I think exhilarated, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first house was the Cotswold Cottage. Looking back, what did that teach you? What were your thoughts about that?
It probably taught us that we had to think more about the house than the location. The location was absolutely stunning, but if the house and your living space isn't right, then, you know, unfortunately for us, I think that was no good.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it's a lovely house, it just wasn't big enough for what
I'd
we
love
wanted.
to stay there for the weekend.
Yeah.
Or maybe the week.
Yeah.
But not for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And the second house was much bigger, and the proportions seemed to be what you were looking for.
Yeah. When we started off in that house, I think we were quite positive.
Yeah.
And when we first went in, the 2 reception rooms, you know, were quite large. The kitchen was lovely. I don't think we had enough vision to know how to make that house our own. We just couldn't get it.
Yeah. And for the price as well. I think it then shut our vision.
And yet the mystery house, although it didn't tick boxes that you originally put in stone, actually seemed to really wow you.
Yeah, it's a lovely property, and maybe it's because when we, you know, kind of went into that third house, we were having to start thinking about compromises.
Yeah.
So although it didn't tick all the boxes, we understand now we've got to make some compromises to get, you know, the kind of living space that we want.
You know, the garden was beautiful with the office in the back. You know, I would love to work there.
I know you're very, very, very keen to settle up here and move into a place straight away.
Yeah.
Will you be revisiting that place? Would you put an offer in?
I think we would probably consider going back and having a look and putting some thought to the upstairs of it, and you know, whether it could work for us and could we see ourselves staying there long term.
It's been great showing you around. It's been a learning curve for all of us, I think. And I hope that the Warwickshire opens its gates to you and triumphs when you arrive.
No,
Thank you very much.
We've had a great time, and as I say, it's been a real journey and a bit of an eye opener for us.
You're a very patient man.
Well, you're very patient too, because I've showed you obviously properties that have tested your patience. But I'm glad it all came together at the Mystery House.
Thank you.
You see, sometimes on this show it's not about giving the buyers what they want, but finding out exactly what the buyers want. And I think that's what we've done here in Warwickshire with James and Lynn. We've focused their mind more clearly on what they do and don't want in their new home. Whether they buy the mystery house is indeed a mystery, but we love mystery on this show. So make sure you join us next time for more on Escape to the Country. And if you'd like to escape to the country in Scotland, Wales, Northern Ireland or England and need our help, please apply online at bbc.co.uk/be on a show.